Every day I get asked to look at other researchers' videos, and the reason why is because none of those show evidence. Obviously my videos do. So people are starting to wake up and say, hang on a minute, these people just talk, whereas our true history actually shows. So then they start sending me these videos and saying, can you have a look and tell me whether this person's correct? Because obviously they don't know whether this person's correct because this person doesn't offer any evidence, which I always do. So let's just have a look at this person. The name of this person is called, I won't even try and pronounce it, Ashiana. Yeah, I can't pronounce stuff. Okay, so let's have a listen and see whether or not this person knows what they're talking about.
We did not come out of the apes. They came out of us.
So, okay, so she said that. Now, the earliest Homo sapiens was 300,000 years ago. The earliest Homo sapiens sapiens is around 160, but it's not. It's actually 100,000. The mainstream just doesn't seem to quite get their dates right 100%. However, let's have a look at when any of these modern apes that came from us, and basically none of them even come close to the dates that the would be around for us, except for us. You get the idea. So unfortunately this lady's wrong on that account. Let's have a listen to some more. Sorry, I'm just going through her video and wow, she enough waffles.
There is an agenda. There are probable versions of what any species can evolve into, but there's also a primary version of what a species was intended to become.
So it's 4 minutes so far of her saying stuff that actually doesn't really mean anything, and I thought my videos were slow paced, and I really do try and fire out the old information. So this lady says that she gets information from the Guardians. Now this is alien race. Now my problem with that, as always, is people have gone missing and disappeared for seeing UFOs. In other words, for saying I've seen a UFO, I've seen an alien. So any researchers, in my opinion, don't hate me for saying this, but any researchers, in my opinion, that claim they get actual information about our solar system and technologies, etc., such as Bashar and this person here, I'm surprised that the government haven't picked them up, if you get what I'm saying, the secret government. So anyway, so this person says that they get the information from aliens. Let's have a listen here.
The energy systems for what is called the cosmic matrix. At the center of the cosmic matrix, and this is a center that we will not find no matter how far we send out a rocket ship into space.
So the problem with this is obviously I can't verify what she's saying here because she's lucky enough to be chosen by the aliens to explain all of these details, which is very nice of them. You know, I wouldn't have the time to go to another planet and, do you know what I mean, and pick one particular person and hope that that person gets a platform to be able to share the information that I've shared with that person. It's a very thin line because unless you're very famous, it's very difficult to find someone that can actually, I mean, I'm, you know, the foremost expert in these paranormal things and ancient aliens, etc., and yet YouTube suppresses my videos, and I've proven that deliberately. So if an alien was to help me and give me this information, it wouldn't do much because YouTube. So this lady here is very lucky that she seems to be having people in front of her that's actually probably paying to go and see her.
We are all composed of particles that are conscious units of the unici, which means we are all composed of particles of the consciousness of God. And that
okay, so she just said consciousness of God, and obviously we know for a fact, and if you're interested in the evidence of that, all you have to do is go to my website, outtruehistory.co.uk, and find out that God was actually an Anarchy. I've proven it, 100% proof. No one's ever debunked it. No one ever can. Just go to my website, click where it says click here on the home page. So unfortunately this lady straight away, from my opinion, as soon as you mention the word God, you know that she doesn't really know what she's talking about because the race name of gods belong to the Anunnaki. Now if she said something else, if she said source or creation, fine, I wouldn't have had a problem. But if you watch my documentary, the race name for the Anunnaki was gods. So she's now just quoted the Anunnaki, which is wrong. So I think you can probably guess where I'm going to go. So there's no point in going any further on this lady's video. So this religious person's asked me for evidence that the Anunnaki were the gods in the Bible. So I sent them this link, which is a 34-minute video that's on YouTube. There's actually 3 hours worth. And it basically goes through the biblical versions of what the original tablets say. In other words, the original tablets that talk about the flood, etc. Where Enki was the one that told Noah to build the ark. So that is biblical. So this person doesn't obviously want to see the evidence because they won't go and watch this video. Now, this video, as I say, is very long. So I could just point to, if you just want one then, the British Museum, the Noah's Ark tablet. There you go. Enki tells Noah. So there you go, that's one. But if anyone else is interested in the evidence, as I say, it's a 34-minute video on, all you have to do is just go to my website, outrohistory.co.uk, scroll down on the homepage and click here. Did you know Close Encounters of the Third Kind was based off of Project Serpo, where 13 people went on Zeta Reticuli craft to Serpo, a planet? Did you know that Bigfoot has been seen many, many times with little greys, which suggests that the Bigfoot is actually an alien race, and the ones that's here are stuck here from 10,000 years ago after their ship crashed? Did you know the Mark of the Beast actually has already happened and is to do with comets? You're going to say, what? Yeah, I show all of this with evidence. It's all to do with comets. Did you know Kronos was not around at the time of the start of the solar system as written in the ancient texts? But the ancient texts were actually just written by people basing their stories off of what they believed. I actually show evidence that Kronos was not around. If you're interested in all the evidence for everything that I've just said, just go to outrohistory.co.uk and search for whatever it is you're after.
Translation, it says, in the beginning Elohim created the universe, or created everything.
This religious person says that the Bible got it wrong by saying that God created heaven and earth. He says that it actually says gods created heaven and earth, which actually he's even wrong. It actually says God's preparing heaven and earth. And if you want to go see the evidence of that, just simply go to Young's literal translation of the Bible. And that's a direct English version off of the Hebrew version. And so that actually says preparing, not created, because obviously the Anunnaki, who are our fathers, who aren't in space, they prepared for the first 6 days. Tablets were in Columbia University, and then on the 7th day, Enki said, let this day be a day of rest. So follow religious people, or always go to me, who has the evidence, and points to the evidence, by the way. So there's a channel on YouTube called Anarchy Origins, and it says here Riddick Dawson presents a full feature film on the Anunnaki. Unfortunately, what they've actually done is stolen my words, in fact, actually directly off of my video. So this was released 5 days ago, and the video that they nicked my actual wording from was done 9 days ago, which is also on YouTube. So have a listen to this, and you'll see that they actually just literally... well, you'll see how bad it is. And this is why you should follow me instead of these guys, because obviously they're getting the information from me. So you might as well just go straight to the horse's mouth. Have a listen.
Pale blue eyes and white hair. Noah was also the direct child of Enki and a Homo sapien woman called Bonash. That's why Enki wanted to save Noah. Noah had blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin. He was dark-skinned compared to Lamarck, who was Bynex's husband. You can see all this evidence in my documentary, The Great Flood. Please see my video. It's free to watch. Look for a comprehensive overview of our true history. Co-UK. Some individuals have highlighted the significance...
So they actually did a lot more than just that. They've talked about the bag, which is exactly the word not I said. But let's just show you this. So this is mine, my actual version, Crash Course on an Anunnaki, where they stole the information from. Blue-eyed and white hair. Noah was also a direct child from Enki and a Homo sapien woman called Banash. That's why Enki wanted to save Noah. That's why Noah had blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin, compared to Lamech, who was Banash's husband. He was dark-skinned. You can see all of the evidence of this on my documentary called The Great Flood. please see my video. It's free to watch. Search Great Flood on ourtruehistory.co.uk. Some people have... So you can see, I mean, the rest goes on. Basically, they've nicked loads and loads of bits of my videos. So you got a choice. Either follow someone that kind of has no idea what they're doing other than copying people, or go direct to mine. Yes, I don't have as many followers because people nick my stuff. So maybe follow me and learn it direct. Thank you very much for watching. So this person said nothing is real in a simulation. So let's break that down for a moment, because he seems to think that we're in a simulation. So a simulation is either stimulation of blood flowing, which is not, then the action of pretending or deception, clever simulation that's good enough to trick you. The problem is, if we are inside a simulation, we wouldn't know any different. There is no way that we would know that we're being tricked, because we wouldn't have known what the original was in the first place. So that kind of defeats that. You have to know what the original is to know that you're being tricked. And then the production of a company model, especially for the purpose of study. So in other words, if we was inside a simulation, we are real. To us, everything is real. But to the outside people that's looking in, that created the simulation, it's not real. So therefore, your comment where nothing is real, then sadly something is real. Elongated skulls, are they alien or not? I've just finished doing an amazing long deep dive video called Ultimate Elongated Skull Video. It's on my Patreon page, Patreon, or you can get to it from my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk. It's 40 minutes long, and I hope it shows you the answers to questions that you really, A, probably never even thought of asking, and B, I can guarantee you there's stuff in this video that you would never have thought of or seen anyone conclude before. So hope you enjoy it. You can get to it, as I say, from my website or from Patreon. Thank you. Religious people, please answer this. You won't be able to, but for everyone else, this is going to blow your mind. So, at the same time that God was telling kings to do various different things in ancient times, there was another group of gods, actually, called the Anarchy, and their race name was called gods. And so we have ancient tablets that predate the Bible telling us that the Anarchy created us, telling us the Anunnaki allowed the flood, telling us all this and everything else. And of course their names are gods, that's their race names. However, if people back in ancient times, as religious people believe, all knew about one god, then why was there no temples made for the one god? In fact, the oldest known temples were for the Anunnaki, the race we call God, or the race name called gods. Why did they get temples and not one almighty being? Because they were the gods in the Bible.
There's 2 books unlike any other you will read. Finally, you'll get answers to the biggest unsolved mysteries. Anunnaki, aliens, spirits, Atlantis, crystal and elongated skulls, Bigfoot, and so much more. 15 different chapters in each book, covering many different paranormal subjects. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. They will make an excellent present for someone. Just type on Amazon, Ebbins Publishing, and you will find the books.
Yes, we're back round to whether or not the Anunnaki were dark skinned. Now, you know, if you've watched my videos, you know I've asked 1,000 times to people that generally seem to be of darker skin that want the Anunnaki to be darker skinned. Now, I have said that the Anunnaki did create the first Homo sapiens, which were dark skinned, because I know certain groups want to have everything a certain colour. So, anyway, this particular person said they're not pale-skinned because look at the image of them. So I said, show me one of the Anunnakis with a flat nose then, because they've all got short, sharp, pointy noses, which seems to be a European trait or a pale skin trait. So obviously then he come back and said, oh, well, you know, this is what he wrote. Look at the depictions of Sumerians and Babylons left themselves. I have, and they look pale. Also, I have evidence as well, which I offered this person once he shows me evidence they were dark-skinned. Of course, he hasn't. Oh, I give up. Alien Anunnaki, the ones that created us. This question's regarding that. So, I mentioned in a previous video that the original words in the Bible is God's preparing heaven and earth. That is actually from the Young's literal translation, direct off of Hebrew. All the other versions have changed it to God created heaven and earth. So this person's asking, well, why did the Anunnaki say they were preparing? They didn't. they actually laid out what they were doing. The tablets are in Columbia University. They're owned by the Rothschilds, and the Moorhens have catalogued them and translated them. And what they say in the tablets is that on day one they separated the waters, salt and fresh water. Day 2 they made pens for the animals. Day 3 they catalogued the plants, and so on. And on the 7th day, Enki said, "Let this day be a day of rest." It's the translations in Hebrew that added they just narrowed it down to saying preparing. Satan's coming to get us all is all I hear. Repent before Satan comes. I get that a lot, actually. So all I'm doing is just asking to name one person. Someone just name one person that's actually been hurt or killed since the Bible was written by Satan. Just name one. I'll wait. And then when you realise you can't, then you realise that the word Satan was actually to do with an adversary that was one of the Anunnaki gods, because they were all called gods because that's what their race name was. It was just one of the other gods that they didn't like. It was an adversary, same as Lucifer was. The original word was adversary. So please stop saying Lucifer's and Satan's deceiving us and all this baloney. It really is baloney. I don't know how you guys can just... I don't know. I give up. Show me one fake ancient tablet. I will wait. And wait. And wait. This is where the spirit that joins with you connects. It's the pineal gland. That's why it was actually the Eye of Horus. So if you go to the National Institute of Health, they even say the pineal gland was described as the seat of the soul, which is where the orb joins with you. Now, the problem with this is that pineal gland gets calcified, and we know that because when you look at the University of Virginia, their studies where they've actually literally proven that people can remember the past life that the orb was with. It's not your own orb. You don't get an orb. It joins with you. Most of those people or children that can remember their past life live in places where there's no fluoride in the water. Now, fluoride actually does calcify the pineal gland. In other words, is it being done deliberately so we don't actually know what's going on? I'll let you figure that one out. Hi everyone, I'm doing a map on where the Anunnaki were. Obviously this is a modern map showing Iraq, for example, but when it's finished you'll be able to simply just click on that and see where each of the Anunnaki's places was, where the Ark was built, where even where the Great Flood actually came from. It was down here. There's a little icon there. So when you click on that, you find out that the actual ice shelf broke off there, and the tsunami went all the way up and pushed the water that way, which is why some of these places are flooded and yet other places further up are not. So it will be done fairly soon. So once it's all done, this will all be populated. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Did you know there was 2 types of real men in black, the American personnel and aliens? Did you know the oldest known temples in the world was not built for God? They were actually built for Enlil, Enki, Ninurta, etc., who were the Anunnaki gods. That's their race name that created us. I can show evidence for all of this. Did you know that mainstream is now finally agreeing that a giant ice shelf slid off and caused the Great Flood? They're saying around 1,400. It was actually around 1,200. Again, I can show all of the evidence of this. So they're finally catching up with what I've been saying forever. Did you know there's a document online that's called the Special Operations Manual, which shows what happens when a alien UFO crashed in the 50s, what the military would have to do? Did you know that the Igigi were the sons of the Anunnaki, the younger gods? They were the ones that we call fallen angels, and I can show this, and they weren't slaves. I can show this with evidence. All you have to do is go to my website, outtruehistory.co.uk, and type in what you want.